right now. Well, thank you, Kalani, for being willing to meet me and discuss your beliefs and understandings about the Quran. So thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
So could you just tell my class a little bit about yourself?
Um,
Who are you? How old are you?
Hi, my name's Kulani. I'm in the 7th grade. Um,
What do you interested? What do you like to do?
oh,
Yeah.
I like physical school and what do I like to do? I like to eat.
Awesome. And what are your favorite foods?
Yeah, that doesn't exist. All food's good.
All foods good? Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. So I have 74 students, and 2 of my 74 students are Muslim, but the other 72 are not. And there's one student who has one parent who is Muslim, so maybe 3. So what would you tell the students who are not Muslim about Islam? What do you think they should know about Islam that you think they probably don't know?
They probably don't know.
Yeah, what's something about Islam that they probably don't know that you think they should?
We have a lot of prophets, and Muslims believe in Jesus.
Okay. Yeah, so most non-Muslims don't know that. So what are your personal beliefs about Jesus? Who is Jesus and what does he mean to you?
He was the second to last prophet, and he didn't die on the cross, and someone else took his place.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification. And then, so my students have learned a little bit about how Americans tend to view Muslims. And sometimes their views about Muslims are shaped by the media, about what they see on television. And then they've learned a little bit about the person of Muhammad. But then today, they're going to start learning about the Quran. So what would you want to tell my students about the Quran? Like, what does the Quran mean to you personally? What role does the Quran have in your life? Do you pray from it? How do you use it in your daily life?
I read it daily. When we're praying, we recite the Quran, and I'm just like I was born growing up learning how to read this. Never not taught how to actually understand it, but I was taught how to read this.
Mm-hmm. And so right now you're in the midst of learning Arabic, and what's that like for you?
I recently finished reading the whole thing, but my parents would like me to read it again, so I'm doing that, and it feels really good to read all the scripture that God has sent us.
Mm-hmm. And how are you learning? Are you learning on your own? You're taking a class, and what's that like?
4 times a week.
Okay, all right. And as far as your own, you said you read the Quran on your own alone, or are you talking about when you pray with the Quran, do you do it as part of your group prayer?
I read it when I'm praying. I read it alone.
Great. And then could you talk about what's it like to wear the hijab? Do people look at you differently or treat you differently, or do you feel like are you aware that people you think look at you differently, or do you not even notice that people treat you differently?
I think people do look at me differently.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've gotten especially on 9/11, the looks in class when we're learning about it. Those stares from the back of the class looking at you. I've gotten yelled at once in public.
Wow. I'm sorry. I'm sure that was awful.
Yeah, it really did suck.
Yeah. What else can you think of that you'd like to share with my students about what it's like for you?
I have hair. I'd like to say that. People think I'm bald. I have a lot of hair.
Okay. All right.
Can you say the question again?
Sure. Um, my question is like, is there anything else that you want my students to know about you or what it's like to be Muslim in the United States?
You have strict parents.
Okay.
I've never met a Muslim who doesn't have strict parents.
Okay. And is it hard to be a practicing Muslim or especially to have strict parents when your friends don't have like the same religious background or maybe their parents aren't as strict? What's that like for you?
I can't do a lot of stuff that my friends do.
Yeah.
And I feel left out sometimes, but then you remember it's not your fault. It's not your fault.
Right.
You're not feeling left out. It's your parents.
Gotcha. Yeah, even though it feels like that. Cool. I can't think of any other more questions I have. Anything else that you want to say?
Can I read it?
Sure.
Okay. I have to find the one I'm really good at reading.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I got it.
Awesome. So what are you going to read for us and why are you picking this one?
I'm gonna read Surah Al-Layl because it's one of my favorite surahs. I memorized it when I was really younger, and I was really proud of myself when I memorized it.
Awesome. Great. I'd love to hear it.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والليل إذا يغشى والنهار إذا تجلى وما خلق ذكرا والأنثى إن سعيكم لشتى فأما من أعطى واتقى وصدق بالحسنى فسنيسره لليسرى وأما من بخل واستغنى وكذب بالحسنى فسنيسره للأسرى وما يغني عنه ماله إذا تردى إن علينا على الهدى وإن لنا للآخرة والأولى فأنذرتكم نارا تلدى لا يصلاها إلا الأشقى الذي كذب وتولى وسيجنبها الأتقى الذي يؤتي ماله يتزكى وما لأحد عنده من نعمة تجزى إلا ابتغاء وجه ربه أعلى ولسوف يرضى.
Beautiful. Thank you. Well, can you summarize a little bit? What does that passage mean, or what does that surah mean? Excuse me.
I was never taught the meaning, actually.
Okay.
I wish I did know.
So you're still learning the meaning of it.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you. That was beautiful. Yeah, one thing that I've heard is that for a Muslim, it's a cool experience to read the Quran, but that it takes on a whole nother level when you get to hear it read or chanted or sung or even proclaimed. Has that been your experience too? Do you notice a difference like when you're reading it by yourself or as opposed to when someone chants it or someone proclaims it?
When someone else reads it, it's like a whole new level. Because when you read it, it feels nice, but like when someone else reads it, you like start listening.
Cool. And I'm sure some of my students are going to have questions too about like what the service is like. Where do you go? How often do you go? What's the service like for you?
Oh, well, since Ramadan's coming, it's actually in a few days.
Right? Doesn't Ramadan start on Thursday?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Um, there's this Muslims go to the mosque, and I actually don't go that often because of school and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But we go there to pray
Mm-hmm.
and like hear lessons.
Cool. And can you tell me what's Ramadan going to be like for you?
This year, you're usually you eat with you like you break your fast with a bunch of people, but I don't think it's gonna happen this year. And you usually go to the mosque at night to pray, but I don't think that also happening this year.
Yeah, so what do you think it's going to be like if you can't get together to celebrate Ramadan?
Mm, It's gonna be you at home with your family.
Yeah. That sounds like that could be tough.
It's not as tough as it is at school,
That's true. That's true. That's true.
and I don't get questions this year either.
Say more. What do you mean?
Sometimes I get asked questions like, "Not even water," or
Gotcha.
questions that get very, very annoying sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. So people are just kind of pestering you about what it's like during the
Mm-hmm.
school day. I gotcha. Yeah. Well, let me think about what other questions that I might have. Um, I'm going blank. I can't think any. Um, Anything else on your end? Any questions that you think would be good that you get asked, or anything else that you might have for my students?
Oh, for your students, so sorry that school got canceled. It really does suck. Online school doesn't really does suck. Like I love school, but I just hate online school.
Well, one consolation might be that I think you're going to make my students' online school experience better by this interview. So I appreciate that.
Wait, do they have to write something after this interview?
That's what I'm going to have them do.
Oh.
You think I should let them off and not have them make them right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, Kalani, thank you so much. And I really hope that even in spite of the pandemic, that you have a really good Ramadan.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for sharing about your faith and educating us. I really appreciate it.
It was great. It was nothing.
Oh, thank you so much. Let me stop recording. Okay.